Good morning, class 7. This is part 2 video of lesson 8, winds, storms and cyclones. Let us recall what we have learned in part 1 in case you have totally forgotten. Okay, we started with some properties of air. What are the properties that we studied? That air exerts pressure in all directions. When air heats up, it rises in an upward direction. And the speed of the wind, when it increases, it reduces the air pressure. Then winds are caused due to uneven heating of the earth. These were some of the properties we learned in order to understand how weather changes, right? So you can see different types of weather in this picture. On the extreme left, you see a windstorm. Then you see a rainstorm, and then you see a thunderstorm. So these are all bad weather conditions, but they may cause discomfort, but they do not cause too much of damage. There are some extreme weather conditions which cause lot of damage and even loss of lives. Look at the 4 pictures of these extreme weather conditions. The first one is a thunderstorm. The second picture is that of a cyclone. And the third picture is that of a tornado. So these are some of the extreme weather conditions which we are going to learn in this lesson. How they are formed and what are the precautions we need to take in order to be safe under these extreme weather conditions. The first weather condition that we are going to study is thunderstorms. What are thunderstorms? All of you must have experienced what are thunderstorms. A thunderstorm is a weather condition characterized by heavy rain, thunder and lightning. So when heavy rain occurs along with thunder and lightning, we call it as a thunderstorm. They generally occur in hot and humid tropical places just like India. How are thunderstorms formed? When the air near the earth's surface heats and rises up, it begins to rise up. When it reaches the upper regions of the atmosphere, the water vapor cools and forms either tiny drops of rain or small pieces of ice, which we call it as hail. These water droplets and the ice crystals keep bumping against each other, colliding with each other due to the rising air. This collision will produce static electricity, which charges the clouds. Have you tried to comb your hair, freshly washed hair with a plastic comb? Sometimes it raises, isn't it? Why you know? Because of the production of static electricity. So in the clouds too, static electricity is produced. When two clouds with opposite charges come very near to each other, huge sparks are seen in the form of lightning followed by thunder. Why do you always see the light first and then hear the thunder? Can you explain? Yes, because the speed of light is much faster than the speed of sound. This is why always you will see the lightning first and then only hear the thunder. Let us now understand how thunderstorms are formed. The formation of thunderstorms can be divided into 3 stages. First is the formation stage. So here again, as we already discussed, hot air keeps rising up, and when it reaches the upper parts of the atmosphere, it cools and cloud formation keeps on taking place. As the water particles in the second stage, as the water particles and the ice particles collide with the rising air, we see thunder and lightning and also rain. After all the clouds have changed into rain, slowly the clouds that had gathered begin to disperse. And we call this stage as dissipating stage. So, if you are caught in a thunderstorm, what you should do to keep yourself safe? Never take shelter under an isolated tree. If there is huge ground and there is single tree, please do not stand under it. Why? Because when the lightning strikes, most likely it will strike this single tree. That is why please do not take shelter under an isolated tree. This is the reason why huge buildings, very tall buildings, have a lightning conductor put on its top, so that even if the lightning strikes the building, it will get safely discharged into the ground without damaging the building. Similarly, being under an umbrella with a metallic handle is also not advisable. And please do not be in a metal shed for the same reason. Being inside a car, bus, or a building is safe. But do not sit near an open window. And what if you are in a water, in a swimming pool, or in the river or ocean? Please get out very fast and go inside a building. Buildings are safe places. The next extreme weather that we are going to discuss is cyclone. Puyal, as you call it in Tamil. Right? So, what is a cyclone? Cyclones are huge, powerful storms that are formed over the sea in tropical areas. A thunderstorm can occur anywhere, either on the land or on the sea. But cyclones invariably always are formed only over tropical seas. Or you can also call a cyclone as a giant engine which is run on hot air and hot and humid air. Okay, a giant engine which is powered by hot humid air. A cyclone always has a central calm and cloudless area which is marked by very low pressure. We call this as the eye of the storm. The area immediately surrounding the eye is called as the eye wall. This is the place where the storm is most violent with very strong winds and heavy rainfall. The outer regions of the cyclone are called as the rain bands. They cover the spiral arms and have got thick clouds. The cloud may have a height of up to 10 kilometers. The area covered by the cyclone or the diameter of the cyclone may be up to few hundred kilometers. The cyclone always twists and tries to move towards the land. The event of the cyclone crossing the land is called as landfall. Once the cyclone hits the land, it gradually weakens because it does not get moist air, and slowly it weakens. Lot of damage is caused due to cyclone. There could be flooding, there could be damage to the buildings, roads, bridges get washed away. Then there is disruption of communications because of the falling down of trees and poles, electricity poles or telecommunication poles. Let us see how cyclones are formed. As we already told, for the cyclone to be formed, it always forms on hot tropical areas. The sea temperature should at least be near 25 degrees. When the moist air becomes heated, it keeps rising up. When it reaches the upper parts of the atmosphere, it condenses, cools down into tiny water droplets. When it does this, it gives out heat, which in turn helps in the formation of more water vapor. This is how rapidly cloud formation takes place. As you can see in the next picture, already the central low pressure area has formed. When surrounding cold winds from the surrounding tries to move to this low pressure area, it is unable to go inside but moves in a circle. Why? Because of the rotation of the earth, and we call this as the Coriolis effect. So any air which tries to go to this low pressure area joins the moving cyclone and starts to move in a spiral. This picture shows you the three stages of the formation of a cyclone. On the right hand side bottom, you can see the first picture. Already a low pressure central area has been formed and there are spiral clouds surrounding it. The second picture on top, you see that's the second stage where a huge cloud formation has taken place with a central low pressure area. The small picture on your left shows a satellite picture of a cyclonic storm over the sea. You can see the central cloudless area clearly. Can you see? That's called the eye, right? So what are the parts of a cyclone? This is again a picture of the satellite picture of a cyclone. You can see the central area where there are no clouds. This is called as the eye of the storm. The area which is immediately around the eye is called as the eye wall, and you can see whole lot of clouds in the form of a spiral, and we call this as the spiral rain bands. So what precautions do you take during a cyclone? A cyclone is a huge extreme weather which causes huge damage. There are thousands of lives which have been lost due to heavy cyclones, or what you call it as super cyclones. That was then. But now, thanks to satellite pictures and the recording of the speed of the wind or the meteorological department, we get ample warning of the cyclones. As soon as a cyclone is formed on the sea, we can get satellite pictures and we can exactly track, okay, where it is going to hit, what time it is going to hit, what is going to be the wind speeds, everything we can track. One more interesting thing is, according to the speed of the wind, the cyclones can be graded into different categories. So a cyclone can start with a wind speed of 50 kilometers per hour to, it will go, if it is a super cyclone, a very powerful cyclone, the speed may go up to 250 kilometers per hour. But coming back to the precautions, so people who live in the coastal areas should always heed to cyclone warnings. So as soon as a cyclonic storm is formed, the meteorological department starts to keep an eye on it, collects all the data, and this is given to the general public in the form of weather bulletin or cyclone warnings. So people living in the coastal areas must always listen to weather news on the radio or TV, especially the fishermen or the people who go out into the sea. They must always listen to the warnings and then only plan their venture into the sea. We must always keep emergency supplies of food, water and medicines ready. If you are living very near the coast, please, you should secure your house, close all the doors and windows, bolt them nicely, move all the valuables out and move to safer places called as cyclone shelters. Keep phone numbers or emergency numbers ready. Keep your cell phones charged. Keep emergency lights ready. Once the cyclone has passed, when we return back to our homes, we must always check for gas leakages and dry our electrical appliances before using them. After a cyclone, generally there is a lot of flooding will take place because of heavy rains. So drinking water is a huge problem. You must store drinking water, and if you have to go into the flood waters, be very, very careful about fallen down electric lines as well as snakes and other reptiles. So the casualties or the number of people dying in a cyclone can be avoided if you heed to cyclone warnings. The next extreme weather that we are going to learn is a tornado. What is a tornado? It is a violent, twisting funnel of wind which extends from the cloud directly to the ground. When you compare with the cyclone, the tornadoes are much, much smaller, only ranging from a few meters to a few hundred meters in diameter. However, they are much, much more destructive than cyclones. Why? Because the speed of tornado can reach up to 500 kilometers per hour. I told you the maximum speed recorded by a cyclone has been up to 250 to 300. Okay, but a tornado can reach a speed of 500 kilometers per hour. This makes them very, very dangerous. This is the reason why they are also called as twisters. The dark funnel of the cloud, it basically sucks up everything that comes up in its way. It will suck up trees, it will suck up small vehicles. Sometimes it is known to suck up whole houses inside it. And this is what makes the damage much, much more. However, twisters or tornadoes are not common in India, but they are very, very common in North America and the Europe. Let's take a look at the picture of how a tornado is formed. So you see, if there is quite a wind blowing, because generally during a thunderstorm or a storm formation, a funnel like column of cold air is formed. Okay, and then somehow it gets vertical. It just becomes vertical and reaches the ground. The warm air all around it makes it twist at a very, 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 very high speed. And this is when a tornado is formed. Tornadoes can also be formed on water, and when they are formed on water or sea, we call them as water spouts. So tornadoes can also be formed both on the land as well as the sea. So here is a tornado or twister in action. See, all amount of debris or the material that the tornado has picked up, it is just flying around the tornado, and which also gives it a very, very dark color. So what do you do if you happen to be living in a place which is likely to have a tornado? Okay, tornado warnings are also given on weather bulletins, and you can hear the weatherman telling you whether a tornado has been formed and which direction it is likely to move. So if you are in any danger of being in the path of a tornado, what you must do is you must shut all the doors and windows of your house, secure them nicely, and take shelter inside the house. But make sure that your houses are strongly built, because a tornado can blow away a weak house. If it is a very, very powerful tornado, it is advised that you take shelter in a tornado shelter, which generally constructed underground or deep, deep inside a building. So these are some of the extreme weather conditions. I hope you understood how extreme weather conditions occur and what are the precautions we must take in order to save ourselves from them. I have also attached a few videos which you can take a look at to understand more about cyclones and tornadoes. You can also search on the net for other videos if you feel that you need more information. Thank you.